on next Wednesday, the 29th, we will have a joint press conference / introduction of our two new head coaches. We're very excited. Kim English as our men's basketball coach and Aaron Bath as our women's basketball coach. So it's a very unique time that we have both of these positions being filled right about the same time. So we are very excited, and we hope everyone can join us again next Wednesday at 11 a.m. We will stream it live via YouTube. So for anyone who can't be here, we'll have that as well. We will have questions. We'll have a question and answer that will be after the press conference off the stage. So especially for the TV, you guys can do your breakouts right there and hopefully get all your questions answered. But we didn't want to have to make you wait until next Wednesday to meet, because this is an exciting day for us. So I will kick it off. So thank you, our 16th head coach, Kim English. We're going to begin with Steve. Steve's going to open it up, and then he'll kick it to Kim. So why don't you take it away, Steve?
Artie, thank you so much, and thank you for everybody joining tonight. I can't tell you how excited I am to welcome Kim English and his family to Friartown. I think the last 7 days, we can all write a book on it here and maybe write a movie on it. But to be here today, to be able to hire someone who I believe is going to take Friartown to all new heights, someone when I was thinking about who would be our next head coach, what I was looking for, someone who had the potential, the integrity, and the passion to want to be a Friar, to want to win Big East championships, and who want to win a national championship. It's with great pride and excitement to welcome our next head men's basketball coach, Coach Kim English. Coach.
Well, hey guys, really, honored, humbled to be here. When I first got into coaching, I was at an event in New York, in Brooklyn. And Shaka Smart's been a friend since I was a player in college. He came and sat next to me and he said, "So what do you want to do with this thing?" And I looked him right in the eyes and I said, I want to win national championships as a head coach. And he said, right answer. I've talked about this before. A lot of young coaches, a lot of assistant coaches say they want to be a head coach. That was never my goal. I want to be at a place where we can consistently compete for conference and national championships. And simply put, Providence is that place. When I got off the plane yesterday and I got to campus and I seen the facility, and I've obviously seen the talent of the players that are already there, but when I got to talk to Steve, when I got to speak with Father Sicard, it made it clear as day to me that this is the place that I wanted to be. And I'm incredibly thankful and honored and really fired up and excited to get to work. Providence is a great job and it's in great shape. The foundation is laid. There's an incredibly high standard that we will continue to meet. And our challenge is that we want to elevate it, and we will.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, I hear you great.
Okay. Hey, Frank Carpano at NBC 10. Congratulations and welcome to Providence. I had a question on what's on your to-do list now? What are the top 2-3 things that are on your to-do list right now?
Well, it's get to know our guys, get to know our guys, get them to get a better feel, for me, and then it's make sure our roster is intact, our rotation and our roster. I'll talk to all the guys today on phone and FaceTime. I'll meet with them in person tomorrow. I'll spend all day tomorrow with them. Then secondly, it's getting our staff in place in Providence, and we're going to get to work, implementing our culture. And again, most importantly, learning these guys. You can't love until you learn. We have to learn everything there is to know about them, their families, and vice versa.
Yes, Kim, I'm just interested. What were your conversations like with Rick Barnes, and what did he intimate about Providence College to make this an attractive spot for you?
Yeah, well, he's talked about Providence, long before this job came available. He's always talked about the Big East and the battles, and it's what I've always wanted. This day this day and age in college basketball, if you want to win the big trophy, you have to be in the big dance. And at the mid-major level, it's getting increasingly harder and harder to get to the big dance. So this gives us an opportunity. If we are competing for Big East championships, we're going to be in the show. We're going to be in the show. And the Providence College that Rick Barnes coached at, it's not the Providence College today. I think it's the best fan base in the Big East. I think it's the best home court advantage in the Big East. And the Ruane Development Center, I believe, is the best basketball facility in the country. I've been to all 30 NBA teams' facilities. The Sixers and Trenton or Camden have the newest, and ours is better. So it's players are going to love it. And lastly, when Coach Barnes talked about Steve, and when I got to talk to Steve, I mean, it was an instant connection. His energy, his positivity, his purpose, his passion, we're really aligned. And then when I got to Providence yesterday, and I got to sit there at a dinner table and see the leader of our institution, Father Sicard, and the leader of the athletic department, they are locked in with each other. And one thing Coach Barnes has always told me is the most important thing about any job is who you work for. And I got just really, really, really excited when I got to learn more about Father and Steve.
Coach, how would you describe your coaching style, and what is your message to Friartown and the fans out there that want to hear from you?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we're going to play hard. We're going to play hard defensively. We're going to be physical, and we want to be stingy. We don't want to make anything easy for you on the defensive end. My style of play, I'd say stylistically, offensively, you'd look more at my first season at Mason. We, in 1 year at Mason, we made the most threes in the history of the program. And we played 3 less games because of COVID. So we shoot a ton of threes. We recruit shooting. It's imperative. This past year at Mason, 2 of our best shooters, one of VJ Bailey was the number 9 3-point shooter in the country. He broke his hand. Another great shooter broke his hand. So your style of play is 2 things, right? Joe, it's what it is at its best. Our style of play offensively at its best is going to be 4 out, 1 in, 5 out, a principle base. You can call it motion offense, read and react. But it's also your style of play has to adjust to the personnel you have. So when we get our final roster intact, all 13 guys, and we fill the holes that need to be filled, I'll be able to answer that question, for this Providence team. But we want 4 shooters on the court as much as we possibly can have it.
Hey, Kim, Scott Abraham, ABC7 in DC. Happy for you, my man.
Thanks, Scott. Good to see you.
Obviously, there's a flip side of this. So how difficult of a decision was this for you to leave George Mason? And what do you want to tell Mason Nation?
Yeah, I tell Mason Nation, thank you. Thank you for taking a chance on a young coach 2 years ago. And I got to grow and learn, and we did some great things. We had some great moments, wins at Maryland, wins at Georgia, a great win at Dayton, this season, some really great moments and some firsts for the program in the Atlantic 10 era. But it's a lot less about George Mason as it was about Providence, as it was about Steve Napolillo. and Father Sicard. I almost said Coach Sicard, Father Sicard, and the Big East Conference and the facilities. I just feel like we will really, really, really be able to tap into our best selves. And I'm really excited for the challenge.
Hey, Kim, we read in your statement, the release when you officially got hired, that you're already getting to work, and we've seen on social media some offers from Providence already going out to recruits. I mean, are you already kind of hitting the trail even in the opening hours of your time at Providence?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that started the moment, the ink went through on the contract last night, even though it was 2 a.m. It was 2 a.m. in Providence, but it was a little earlier on the West Coast. And so I'm like I said, I'm
trying to
going through all of our players, talking to them, texting with them, FaceTime with them, getting to know them as we're doing onboarding stuff with our staff to Mason. So I've talked to some former players, meeting our new staff. So it's a lot of moving parts in these first days.
You mentioned Shaka and the Big East as a whole, all the historical coaches that have come through, and you're now a Big East head coach. What does that mean to you?
It's awesome. It means it's opportunity. It's opportunity, for us to sharpen our sword every day. I think the Atlantic 10's a really good league, albeit wasn't a head coach. I coached in the SEC, was a really good league. I played in the Big 12 and coached in the Pac-12. So I've competed against really good head coaches every step of the way. We've beat a few Final Four head coaches here at Mason, in 2 years. So it's a great opportunity. We're going to get our team, to be the best version of ourselves, and we're going to be incredibly tough. We're going to be extremely competitive, and we're going to be disciplined. We're going to play really hard, and those things will undoubtedly translate to a lot of wins.
Hey, Kim, I have a question for you. It's Kevin. You are known as an elite recruiter. Providence targeted you because of your recruiting experience. What makes Kim English a good recruiter?
Well, you work at it. You do it every day. You're relentless. You create lasting and meaningful relationships with kids, with families, with coaches, and it's what we've always done. At Tulsa, at Colorado, at Tennessee, and at Mason, and we'll continue to do it at Providence. It helps. Like I said, it helps when you have, the toys that Providence has. That facility. Yeah, I wanted to commit. I wanted to turn back the hands of time. I wanted to go back to Baltimore, whatever my recruitment. Like if I would have walked in that gym as a high school senior, whatever. I don't remember what I was ranked on Rivals, but I would have went there. Because that's it's the best of the best. So I'm really excited. We're going to be involved with. We're going to identify, be involved with, recruit, and sign really, really high level student athletes.
Yeah, you mentioned staff. We're familiar with Dennis Felton. Can you confirm any guys coming? That's A, and B. Any doubts that where can you recruit for Providence? You mentioned some of the places you've been. They're not in the Northeast. They've usually been a Northeast-based place. Is this maybe? Should we be surprised if we see some recruits from down south or Texas?
We recruit the globe. Obviously we know basketball in New England, especially prep school basketball, is great. And Rhode Island basketball, I coached Tyler Kolek for like 8 days when I got to Mason. So it's great players in the state of Rhode Island. We want to find and know, New York City, not far. So we're going to recruit everywhere. We're going to, turn over every rock, Kevin. So you'll see, you'll kind of see as this thing goes. We're not tied to a specific place or region. Wherever there's a good player, that's where we'll go. I can confirm Dennis Felton will be, after his 29-year hiatus, making his way back to Providence. It's ironic. The last time, maybe I think I can say this. Yeah, the last time Coach Felton was associated with Providence was, when I guess the last time he was on the Garden Court was when they won the Big East tournament in 94, was it? Was it 94?
94, yeah.
And tonight, Coach Barnes is playing on the Garden floor tonight in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. Thank you.
Kim, I'm wondering, did you recruit Bryce Hopkins to Tennessee?
I didn't, but we were right there, really close. We were down the road with some other wings. I kind of seen the rise of him. I watched it. He played with MoCan, a program I know close. We did recruit and sign Kennedy Chandler from that MoCan team, and he's a McDonald's All-American who's signed with us at UT. But I watched Bryce closely growing up. I know his high school team, Fenwick, incredible program in Chicago, and I'm excited to get to know him.
Do you have a relationship at all with him, and how important is it for you to get him on board?
It's very important. It's very important. We've been communicating today. I'll get to spend some time with him tomorrow, building that relationship, and it's a top priority for us to keep him at PC.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Kim, replacing Ed Cooley, a hometown kid here in Providence, does that add anything to the job that you're about to embark on?
Well, I mean, he did an incredible job at Providence the last 12 seasons, elevating it to the level that it's at today. And it's the foundation is set. The foundation is set, and it's what a coach wants. You take over a program where a coach gets fired, you got to rebuild. This isn't a rebuild by any means. The pieces are there. Beyond the pieces, the structure is there. I could see it, walking around. The facilities clean. Facilities clean. I listen to the young men speak, to reporters and on social media. They are respectful. Kind of, quizzing some people around the program about the guys. Everyone seemed to have a pretty high level of toughness, work ethic, and competitiveness. Those are three values that I really, are important to me when I am identifying, who can play for me. Those are three key components. So like I said, it's about us maintaining that standard. We'll see philosophical, what they did, what they didn't do, what's different from us, but it's about maintaining the standard that's been set by LaDontae Hinton and Al Durham and Justin Minaya and Chris Dunn and a lot of really, really good Providence players. Continuing to operate at that standard and to continue to evolve and elevate and take it to the next level.
Kim, Brendan McGee, Pawtucket Times, Woonsocket Call. Great to meet you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wanted to ask, about your knapsack background and how key that will be maybe on the recruiting trail.
Yeah, I played at Notre Dame Prep, a long time ago, and I've been getting text messages from a lot of, knapsack coaches that I used to play against, and I'll be catching up with all of them. It's going to be great to get back, and I've recruited, Brewster, Tilton. It's St. Thomas More. It's just such a rich basketball tradition in that area. And, it's kids that come to New England, but a lot of times they're kids from all over the world, so it's kind of cool that, just like Washington, D.C., we have a lot of really good players here, in New England, you have a lot of good players that are coming to you, so in the fall, they'll all be here. Ryan Hurd was my coach at Notre Dame Prep, and I have such fond memories of being a young man going to school in New England.
Wanted to ask you as a follow-up, we talked about players, you met administrators. How much are you looking forward to interacting with the community, the fans? You're inheriting a fan base, 10,000 season ticket holders. I'm sure you've seen videos of the student section. Just how much are you excited to get out in the community?
Yeah, I don't think it's much debate. I mean, surely other fan bases may. I think I've thought it before Providence ever became a thing. I've thought it was the best, most rabid, fan base in the league. And the home court advantage is incredible. So I'm excited to meet Friar Nation. I'm excited to meet the students. I go out in the community for lunch almost every day. So I'll meet people. When you see me, come up to me, talk to me. I want to get to know you, know your story, know your connection to Friar basketball, because everyone's a part of it. Everyone's a part. It's what I love about the Big East. What I've always loved about the Big East is it's like the old NBA. Larry Bird was a Celtic, and Isaiah Thomas was a Piston. And Michael Jordan was a Bull, and like I felt like that's what the Big East has always been. So I'm excited to meet the Friars and learn and feel and take over their love and passion. I've been a Friar for one day, and there's not a Friar fan in the world that wants to win on game day more than me. After a loss, there's not a Friar fan on earth that's going to be disappointed more than I am. So we have something in common from day one.
Kim,
Go ahead, Bill.
Kim, this is Bill Koch with the Providence Journal. How are you?
How are you, Bill? Thank you.
Congratulations again. Just want to ask you about the perception of Providence's job as it relates to the rest of the Big East. Before you started talking to Steve and Father Sicard, maybe the outside perception of coaches in other leagues about where Providence stands in the Big East and what it can offer in terms of upside in the league.
Well, the first thing I think of, and mostly to do with Ed Cooley, absolutely, was, when I think of Providence, if I was at Tennessee, if I was at George Mason, wherever I was, when I think of Providence, I think of a winner. I think of a winner right away. And what I didn't know, and which has a big, huge impact on what I think, how good I think a job is the facilities. The facility. I didn't know the facilities were as elite as I didn't say top 10. I didn't say top 5. It's the best. It's one of one in America. So that makes it a great job. I didn't know Steve. I didn't know Father Sicard. When I see them and hear them and listen to them talk about Providence basketball, I now know it's a great job. It's a great job. I have never ever, I have no reason to take a bad job. I have no reason to take a tough job. I was a 20-something-year-old assistant, in the SEC. Yeah, I didn't have to, rush. If I'm gonna have interest in it, it's gonna be really good.
Thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Bill.
Hey, Kim, Maury, congratulations. Happy to have you.
Thank you, Maury.
In your first conversations with Steve and with Father Sicard, you talk about the bond that they have together. You talk about, you were impressed with Steve. Just what makes Steve so impressive and unique compared to some of the other athletic directors you've been fortunate to be around?
I have a pretty tight-knit group of friends. And if we see something, if we see a kid on the court that, got popped in the face and he's bleeding, and he gets up and he's still playing, I have a group of friends that we'll send that clip and we'll say, one of us, or someone like Steve is one of us. His passion, his fire, his love for Providence basketball really speaks to me. It really spoke to me, what he was looking for as a first year athletic director, to be in this situation and to go at it and not just do what other people would have maybe been comfortable with. What is that? There's been coaches that have been to Final Fours and been hired and it flopped, right? To see a guy that had the passion and fire and the innovative spirit and the mind and the love to go out and say he wants to lock arms with me. When I watched, when this first came up, I watched his press conference. He said that, his partnership with Father Sicard and his administrative team, he said, I'm so excited to lock arms with you guys when times are good and when times are bad. No one says that in a press conference except for me. My favorite times as a coach is to hunker down, when we're in the middle of a tough stretch, back-to-back road losses, and it's whatever. I don't chitter chat. That doesn't matter. We're here. Like, we're locked in. We're getting better. Let's go. And then you bust through that brick wall. Like, that's what you want. That's what you want in a partnership. And that's what we have. And that's it. That is my guy. Like, I'm with him. I will, I'm with him. So, you're going to see us a lot. You're going to see us together.
It's pretty rare, in college athletics to have a guy who graduated from that school, grew up in Rhode Island. I mean, Steve's born and bred. How much do you think you can use that to your advantage? Just a guy, it's not like he's bounced around a couple places. Like, he's built his career here. He's built his way up. Like that's pretty unique, you would say.
It's really attractive to me. I'll tell you for two reasons. We're driving around yesterday. I'm talking on the speakerphone to Steve's mom, his dad, who was a warrior right now. I talked to his wife, Beth, his kids. You get to bring a recruit and a family around that. And I just sit back and let that go. Why is this guy stayed at Providence, Rhode Island his entire life? Why, like, you get to feel it. You get to feel the love, and it's authentic. And for me, I've been, and again, every place I've been, I've wanted to stay there forever. I really want to stay at a place for a long time. I'm tired of moving, truthfully. I'm sick of moving. I don't think he's going anywhere. I'd be surprised if he is going anywhere.
Kim, you're hurting my contract negotiations coming up.
I'm sorry, but I didn't have an athletic director. This year at Mason, our athletic director left, took a job for the NFL in October, and they've been going through a search, all year. And I've been looking for that partner, and I've wanted that partner, and I found it without a shadow of a doubt. I found it.
And last one for me, appreciate your time. I don't know how much you dealt with it at Mason, but the game has continued to evolve and change every year, even since, your playing days. What are some of your thoughts and ideas and the opportunity that the NIL space has created over the last couple of years?
It's great. If the United States of America is going to be all about capitalism, then let's be about capitalism. If someone has the right to get their fair share value of something, then we have to allow it. I'll tell you what, Providence has adapted and is continuing to adapt and be competitive at the highest levels. From our conversations early, and I know what it's like at the highest level at Tennessee. I know exactly what our guys got. I left, but they're still, my guys were there. And we'll be able to compete. We're not gonna. If we lose a kid, we lose a kid. It's not going to be because of lack of resources or anything for that matter.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you, Maury.
Actually, if you don't mind, I got a couple questions for Steve.
Yeah.
Steve, I'll give you the opportunity. Just, talk about the people you leaned on during this process and how instrumental they were. And now that it's all wrapped up, I'm sure you're very pleased in the fact that you did this in a first-class fashion. Going about this process of hiring a new coach.
Yeah, thanks, Brendan. Obviously, it's been a difficult time, but one of the things I take great pride in is taking this job is spoke to a ton of ADs throughout the last year and just how to keep yourself always ready for any scenario. And you always need to have names in a drawer for every coaching position because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if a coach is going to move on. You never know if you're going to have to let go of a coach. And, tomorrow's not guaranteed for any of us. So you need to prepare in case of the scenario. And, obviously this year, as noise kept growing and growing, I had a list in my drawer. And one of the unique things I told Kim is last year, there was an article I kept from Sports Illustrated in October with the top rising college coaches to be on the lookout for. And for some reason, I highlighted his name. I'm a big person of karma. And it said in the article, I can remember it was like yesterday, it said, if this coach wins 20 games next year, watch out. He's going to be a hot commodity in the next 2 to 3 years. And, you know, when people ask me what I was looking for, I wanted a coach with passion. My line's purpose with passion. I wanted a coach who could recruit their heads off. You know, Kevin McNamara and I always talked about this job. You want to be great, you need great players. You can hire the greatest coach. If he doesn't have great players, it's going to be a challenge. And I wanted somebody who wanted to be here. And, you know, Kim was somebody him and I, you know, I really appreciate what he said, because 5 minutes in the conversation, we were like this. And for me, I wanted somebody every day I had to come in to work that I would run through a wall for, and he'd run through a wall for me. And going back through different candidates and talking to people, you know, I'm blessed. The Friar Network has amazing people. If you talk about Coach Barnes and reaching out to Coach Boyle and reaching out to Tim Connolly, the Minnesota Timberwolves, these are major players in college athletics. And when they would tell me, listen, there's no bigger superstar that's ready to pop than Kim English, you got to listen. And I can't tell you how excited I am today for Friartown. I look at this job when I took it as I'm a person who has to realize this program, this college, this department means so much to so many people that this decision was critical as we move forward. And I know Coach Kim English is going to take us to heights that we've never seen.
Well, like you said, how pleased were you to do this in a first-class fashion, this whole search process?
Listen, Brenda, I know what you're trying to get here, and I'm going to say it one more time to the group, is college athletics is really at a crossroads, because we talk about educating our student athletes, and that goes all out the door on a lot of things. And for me, the Providence College, to be in a room with my fellow colleagues where I felt a bond, where I felt a trust, where I felt that the athletic director at Georgetown was a mentor to me and a friend. As a first-year AD, to put myself in a position that I have a family I have to take care of. If I wasn't ready and saw smoke signs, this could be a lot different conversation. So that's where, for me, is when I talk to people, is I understand the business, but I really thought at the Big East we had something different. So when we got in that room, we looked at each other as colleagues. We had respect, we had integrity, and that we treated a different way. And that's been completely thrown out the door.
Kim, I'll ask you, how much are you looking forward to the challenge of going up against so many great coaches in the Big East?
I'm really, really, really excited about it. You know, I can't wait. I mean, I wouldn't be here, you know, if I wasn't. But you know, it's the game is won on the court. The game is won on the court. You know, I've always been of the mindset that it's our job as coaches to get the intelligence onto the court. You know, I need our players to be smarter and tougher and play harder and play more together than their players. You know, I think 90% of college basketball games are won before the ball is even thrown up. You know, but I'm really excited. I'm excited, you know, Brendan, to win games in April and in June, win games in July. And what I mean by that is when you know we have great practices, when we sign big time recruits, you know, those are wins. Those are wins. You know, Steve has a sign outside of his office that says every day is game day. It really is. It really is. We are winning or losing games every day. You know, so we have to continue to improve, and we will.
Kim, to Steve's point about, you know, the fan base and settling the program down, obviously there's been a lot going on over the past week. Just how can your presence do that for this program and the community?
I don't want to settle the fan base down. I want to rev them up. I don't want them to be calm. I don't want them to be calm and stoic. You know, I played in some venues where it's like, goodness gracious, you got to tell our guys, hey man, you got to create your own energy. And I hated it. Tell you the truth, I absolutely hate it. You know, so I don't want them to calm down. I want Friar Nation to be amped. You know, I want them to be excited. I see them already. They're in the comments of our prospects on Twitter. You know, I don't want to calm them down. You know, Friar Nation has a coach that like I'm going to be just as turned up as they are at the amp. You know, they're going to feel my energy. So turn up, Friar Nation. Don't turn down, you know.
And Steve, for you, the first meeting with Kim, you know, what was that like and what were the first impressions?
Well, obviously, you know, I was under the gun. So it's, I think when you think about with Kim, he, as you can see on this Zoom, Ian, has a presence, has a genuine energy that I'm drawn to. And I'm so excited for Friartown because I really think he was made for this job. You know, a lot of people ask me, wow, you're hiring a young guy. I'm getting calls, emails. Listen, this guy is a rising rocket. He's just ready to take off. And I'm glad that he's a Friar because who he is, his whole resume, if you look at it, he's always won. And as a recruiter, he is someone that parents, young men are going to want to play for. He's going to make them better. He's a teammate. He's my teammate. He's Friartown's teammate. And he hit all the boxes that I was looking for, Ian. I could tell you it was hard not to keep going back to Kim. Even when I was trying to find something wrong with him, I just kept going back with him because he really is the real deal. I'm so fired up.
Steve, congratulations.
Thanks, Bill.
I just wanted to ask you just how pleased you must be that, you know, Kim's obviously your top target. He's somebody who you prioritized in this process. How pleased were you that what you had to offer, that this job was clearly good enough to get him excited and to get him to say yes, to the point where, you know, you didn't have to continue this any further?
Well, Bill, I think you said it right there. First 5 minutes of any conversation I had with anybody, the energy they show for the job, that they want to be a Friar, kicks it right off. And Kim was all in from the first time we talked. And I think Kim and I both said we couldn't stop talking. It was always like, I mean, the last 3 nights we went to, you know, at midnight, I spent more time. I've seen Kim more the last 2 days than I've seen my family. So I just think this is a match that was made to happen. Kim and I were talking about this at 1:30 last night when I was driving him back to his hotel room. Is in life, I'm a big believer is people are brought to you when you need them most, Bill. And Kim English was made to be at Providence College, to be the head coach today for many years to come. And I promise everybody on this Zoom, we're going to be celebrating many special moments together with him as our head coach.
Thank you, Steve. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Bill.
Steve, after the past few weeks, just to have the hire done, are you relieved? What are you feeling right now as you kind of wrap this up?
Excitement. So the adrenaline is pumping. I told Kim and I, every time we talk, we're just talking about how to be great. What are we doing? How are we doing it? What's he need? What do I need? I'm just really excited for all Friartown here. You know, this city, this state, this community, the school is hurt. And we need a shining star to come in and lift them back up and brighten it up. And that's today. And I'm just excited that I was able to get the person that was right for this job at this time. That's where I am. I'm probably going to crash tonight around 8 o'clock, Ian. I'm not going to lie to you because it's been a run, but I couldn't be more excited today.
Okay. If we don't have any more questions, we will wrap that up. I appreciate everyone joining us today. And just a reminder that next week. We will have our press conference on Wednesday at 11 a.m. in Mulaney Gym.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice
Thank
meeting you.
you.
All. Look forward to,
Arthur,
look
thank
forward
you.
to-
Thank you, Arthur.
Guys, congratulations again.